Hi everybody and welcome to Jack the Artist. For this video, Alexandra Palace asked me to put together some ideas around prop making and mask making for the Big Schools SEND project. So I've got a few different materials here. I'm going to show you some really simple ways of how you could make anything. Just using really simple materials that you'll probably be able to find around your house or around the school. I've got this big ball of rope here. And I put some eyes on it because I'm going to be using it as a maquette, as a head. So I'm going to sculpt around it, create my mask on this head. I've got some different tapes. I've got some kind of silver tape, some parcel tapes, and then some electrical tapes as well. And some scissors, so make sure you're being really careful when you're cutting. I've got some bubble wrap. And I've also got some plastic bags because I've got so many plastic bags. I was thinking they might be quite a good way of making some sculptures. Making masks this way, you have to work as a pair, so you have to collaborate or work in a group with people because you'll need to actually model your mask on your partner's head. You could use bubble wrap if you've got bubble wrap. Bubble wrap works really well because it sort of protects the head and it's easy to sculpt with, okay? But obviously there's no point in buying bubble wrap if you've got other materials. You could use newspaper, you can pretty much use anything that you can kind of shape around someone's head. So I'm just going to use these plastic bags. Now obviously we never put plastic bags on people's heads. Alright, that's really dangerous. So what I'm actually going to do is I put my eyes on my character here and I'm going to just sort of wrap the plastic bag just over where the eyes are, like this, like a bandana. Like so. So at no point with any of the materials do you cover your model's mouth or nose. Right? The idea is it all sort of stays above their nose and mouth. So make sure you're being really careful when you're doing this. So I'm just going to cover the eyes like this and sort of just pinch in the plastic bag at the back and sort of twist it and then just tuck it under. Can you see? So it just sort of holds in place. And you could do this with the bubble wrap as well. So kind of almost creating a sort of a bandana shape, and you can use a little bit of tape just to hold that in place. As we sculpt our masks, we're also colouring it. So I'm going to start with just the brown first because that's like not a colour I really want to use, but it'll just show you the technique of how it works. So just sort of like taping on the tape, and the more sort of tape you'll start to see that it starts to hold the mask or the hat into place. It doesn't matter if you make any mistakes because you can just go over with another tape, and you'll find that the more tape that we add, the sort of stronger the shape gets. Obviously, as you're sculpting this around your partner's head, you need to be really careful because you're using scissors and tape. So be careful not to get any of their hair caught on the tape, and also just be mindful when you're using the scissors, alright? I'm going to start putting some tape just over where the eyes are now. So you might want to make sure your partner is aware. And if they don't like having things sort of covering their faces and eyes, you could do it in sort of parts. So you could work on the back bit here, then maybe turn it and do another part there. Start using some green now. So I get my tapes from a website that I'll put in the link called Postpack, and you can buy lots and lots of different coloured tapes like these parcel tapes, and they're really good for making costumes. Every Halloween I normally always make a costume just using really simple materials like this, and like coloured tapes and bubble wrap. Right, ta-da! And the moment of truth is that we can take it off and the hat or the mask holds its shape. So I could probably even put it on. But there you go. Looks like a giant bogey. Normally, if I was making this mask on someone, I would have already made it so that it covers their eyes like this, and then I'd just ask them to put their fingers where their eyes are, so they go like this, and then I'll just make a little mark on the mask where their eyes are, like so, and then being really careful, what I can do is just pinch the area where they mark their eyes, like so, and just cut that area off like that. So pinch that area like so, and cut the area off like that. And then you can see that I now have 2 small eye holes, and then I can just make sure that if I want to make them a little bit wider, I can just cut around them. So I'm just going to cut them out a little bit more so I can see out of them a bit better. And like I said, make sure you use lots of tape before you start doing anything like this, because otherwise your mask might be a bit too flimsy to cut the eye holes out of. Check that your partner can see out of it. Haha! Hi ho silver, alright! So I'm going to cut a piece of card or paper, hold it onto where my partner's face is. I'm going to mark where my partner's eyes are, 1, 2. I'm going to cover this piece of paper with some tape, just so it's coloured. You can still see where the marks are for the eyes, 1 and 2, like that. I'm just going to cut these out the same way I would have done on the mask originally. Pinch, be careful with the scissors, make sure you take your time. And then I can just stick this straight onto the mask. So I can take a bit of tape, this part of the mask straight on like that, and then obviously just cut it to the shape that I want it to. So you could use all different kinds of tapes, so you could have a go at decorating it. So I'm going to just use some electrical tape here. You might want to write their name on it, so you could use something like a Sharpie pen, but paint won't work very well on the tape, okay? But Sharpie pens will definitely work on the tape, you can see, so you can like kind of draw into and draw patterns onto your mask. Give that a minute just to dry, otherwise it will smudge. We can also make extra props and things using the same technique, alright? So it doesn't just have to stop at a mask like this. If we want to add in some horns or something, we can just sculpt with some plastic bags or some newspaper like this, and then wrap the shape in tape. You can see instantly I have like a form, I have a sculpture. Alright, so shows you can pretty much make anything using this technique. So let's go for some horns. The idea is that you can make these props, you can make these kind of objects and masks just using things that you can find. That's quite a cool horn. There's some red on it as well. So with attaching anything to your mask, just make sure you put enough tape on the area where you fix it, so it's not going to fall off. And that horn looks perfect. And I can always just bend things and shape them even more. So if I'm not happy with the shape of something, I can bend it and put a bit more tape on it, and it will hold that position, it will hold that shape. If you've got some string or some coloured wool, you could put hair on your mask as well. So I might be able to tape or even wrap some of the string or the wool in tape as well, so it's coloured. So you could do something like that. And obviously there are other props as well. You can, if you wanted to make a walking stick, or if you wanted to make a utility belt, you can use this technique with anything. You could just cut a strip of cardboard and put the tape on that, or if you want to make something that's like a shape or a form like an animal, you can just take some bubble wrap or some newspaper, just twist it into the shape and the same way that we did the horns. Basically the possibilities are endless with this technique, because all it is forming the shapes, taping the shapes, and then they're coloured and they're decorated. Easy as pie.